You are listening to the Gate 7 International Podcast, a podcast connecting Olympiakos fans from Melbourne to Baltimore, from London to Pireaus. We are 4 Olympiakos fans from every corner of the world, bringing you news and interviews of the team you love in English. With new episodes twice a week, you'll never lose the latest updates and stories of the team you love. This is our team, our city, and our land. Man Aoniro Trello. You're listening to the Gate 7 International Podcast.
Ho, ho, ho. Merry Christmas, everybody.
Okay.
Santa Claus came early this year, didn't he? And Santa Claus is Greek. Kostas Manolas is red and white. I've got my red and white Santa hat on. What a day out of nowhere. Manolas in Greece from yesterday, bought by Olympiakos secretly and announced today after a reception of 2,000 people outside Square Platia Alexandras. What you guys got to say?
You go first, Lambro.
Hold on, I had some mic problem. Can you guys hear me?
Yes, we can.
No? You can hear
Yes.
me? Okay. Godspeed. Okay. Wow. Has anything ever like this happened? Like outside of the transfer window? You know, like it wasn't even... Was this even legit? Is this even allowed? I don't know. Napoli seems really pissed off. God bless them. He just showed up. He just showed up like a week before Christmas. Like, I'm signing, everyone. That's it. And it was just accepted. Like, does anyone remember something like that happening? I can't believe they even announced him too, right? Like, is that even allowed? Anyway, it doesn't matter if it's allowed or not. Just crazy stuff. Super exciting, of course. A legend we love. One of my favorite players ever. I think a lot of people loved Kostas Manolas. I remember the amazing season he had and then going off to the World Cup and playing amazing in Brazil and just being like, damn, we won't see this guy play for Olympiakos again, if ever, for a very long time. And I don't know, it just brings back so many great memories, and I just really hope he's fit and ready to go, because let's go do something special. That's like the big part. Let's go do something special. So
Personally, I don't think it's a shocker. Last summer, we had a chat, Costa, about the Manolas situation. Stavros Georgakopoulos broke the news, and I happen to have had info that confirmed that there is indeed talks. Manolas really wanted to come back to Olympiakos, and he basically wanted to come back to Greece. I think all three of us can agree that living abroad is not for everyone, and maybe it's not forever. It's, it has its pros, it has its cons, but we can agree that, living abroad away from your country can have its toll. And this is a situation where Manolas really wanted to come back home, and obviously he's going to play for the best team in Greece because he has a great relationship with them. He played for them there, and he also said he was going to end his career at Olympiakos. So I always knew this was only a matter of time. I didn't know it was going to happen that soon, but ever since last summer, when I heard all the news and I had some of my sources confirm that this is true, I thought it's only a matter of time, either in January or the summer. The official announcement of Manolas' signings won't happen until New Year's Eve, if I'm not mistaken, or January 1. So you're right about that one, Labros. But at the end of the day, guys, are we doing are we going to go a little deeper into Manolas now, or do we save it for later?
Let's not get too serious straight away.
Okay, let's not get too serious. But the full story is, it's not shocking. He did want to come back. He wanted to come back to Greece. He's here, and this totally doesn't feel like a Yaya Toure, Kevin Miralas thing. Because back then I covered the Premier League, and I could tell you that it stunk more of like they need Olympiakos more than Olympiakos need them. This is not the case right now, and you're going to find out soon why that's not the case.
So we got so excited at the beginning, and I got so excited I forgot to say this is the Gate 7 International Podcast. Welcome, everybody. All right, guys. Thanks for joining wherever you guys are. Hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't done so already. Big news breaking today. As Costa said, Costa with a K, it is no surprise, but I think the timing and how it happened, all of a sudden was somewhat out of the blue. I mean, I can tell you my own story this morning. I'm traveling back to London tomorrow, and I was in the car. I was on the way to taking my dog to where I leave him when we go and travel. We can't take him on the train, so I'm in the car, and actually I'm listening to the Sport 24 daily show that they do, and there was a discussion. Ilias Kalonis was on the mic, and he was talking. Right, thank you. And he was saying Dimitris Nicolaou is being touted as a Manolas replacement in Italy by a Napoli paper, like a site that deals with Napoli issues. It wasn't Gazzetta dello Sport. It wasn't one of those. It was a Napoli page saying Nicolaou is being touted as a Manolas replacement. Like, what? Where did this come from? And okay, why is it relevant? So there was something in the air from the morning already. And then all of a sudden, Diamadopoulos says, oh, there's, something happening in Olympiakos news, stay tuned. And then all of a sudden, Gate 7 comes out with an announcement. Everybody be at Platia Alexandras at 6:00 this evening. We're going to receive another great player as only we know how to. And then, boom, everywhere on social media, Manolas is back. Kostas Nikolakopoulos came out on the radio, confirmed it. We're talking about a player that's made above 50 million worth of transfers, guys. It was more than 15 million when he left to go to Roma, then 36 million to Napoli. And if I'm not mistaken, Costa, you can correct me if I'm wrong, he is the record holder in terms of Greek player with the highest transfer fee paid. 36 million is the highest fee. No, but for a Greek player.
Yeah. Like in total. Player. Yeah. That is true.
So Kostas Manolas is back after 7.5 years after he left. He signed a 3.5-year contract, according to Nikos Kotsis, and the fee is reported to be from Italy 2.5 million upfront plus 1 million additional in deposits and a 400,000 waiver fee because we signed him before the window opens in January. I don't know if that means he's going to be able to start training before the January window opens. We can find out about that hopefully in the next couple of days. But again, I think the way that this was handled from a comms perspective as well by the club has been great. The videos were ready today after he was announced, and no, it's a big coup.
Yeah, I agree. What's crazy is they paid that money 2 summers ago, and how much money have they lost on that? And I think it really is a case, Costa said earlier, of someone wanting to come home. You guys, a lot of guests we had, a lot of former players talked about Georgatos when he went to Inter, and there was just this feeling of I want to come home more than, for fuck's sake, I have no options. Olympiakos fans love me. Let me go back. Like, teams were interested in Manolas, and it was kind of made clear, like, no, I don't care. Like, this transfer is not. I know he hasn't been playing this year, but like, would Olympiakos be playing a player who puts in their transfer request in the summer and pushed hard for a move in the summer? I don't know how much. And we go back. I remember we spoke in the summer. The relationship with Spalletti, I think, was very toxic from his time in Roma with Totti. He was kind of like Team Totti. Spalletti was pushing him out, right? If I remember that all correct. Anyway, it was a real toxic situation in Napoli. I think I saw a lot of fans, like other Greek teams, like, oh, this is a washed up player, doesn't play for Napoli. I think there's a lot of circumstances that are not covered very closely that present a different picture. I think this is going to be a great signing. The big thing is it's going to take time. I think we're going to need to see him get back into match fitness. I think he got injured at some point as well for Napoli. His head hasn't been there almost for 6 months or more. I don't know how hard he's been training. So they're the physios or whatnot are gonna have to work him back in shape. He's got time. It's December 16th. Our first game after Christmas is January 5th or 6th. So he has time. I don't know if he even wants to play that soon, but there's time. I don't know. We paid less than we did for Ruben Semedo. It's interesting. I don't know. Like, even this is extremely low risk as well. 5 million euros? Are you kidding me? Like, Usain Uba is probably worth. Would you sell Usain Uba for less than 5 million euros? I don't know. Like he's shown some talent in European nights. Like if Olympiakos got 5 million euros for Usain Uba, I'd be like, shit, that's not good enough. That's not great. Like, you know what I mean? Like, this is very low risk for a player that has this resume, and that's not even talking about the love he has for Olympiakos and yeah, whatnot. So I don't know. It's just I think this is going to be a fantastic transfer. I think it has. I think it's going to take time though. I really am worried about people, like if he's a bit rusty, getting upset. I hope people don't. I think he'll need time.
Well, what I also know is that Manolas was so keen to come back to Olympiakos that he even surrendered his final pay, his final monthly salary at Napoli, which was around 400,000 euros. He refused to take that pay, and he let them keep it because he was that desperate to make it work and make his move work. But guys, I mean, you put this perfectly. You put this perfectly well. This is a major coup for Olympiacos. This does not have Yaya Toure and Kevin Miralas vibes on it, and I'll tell you why not. Because here we're talking about a player who, ever since 2014, has made a total of 281 appearances for two of Italy's biggest clubs in Roma and Napoli. That's 281 appearances, almost 300. Last season, of course, he only made, and last season he made a total of 33 appearances for Napoli. 29 of them was as a starter. So talking about washed up, has been 29 starts in 33 matches that he played. And the matches that he missed were because of injury and one suspension. So it's not like the manager decided, yeah, you're not good enough. It's just, he literally couldn't play. But of course, he only had 7 appearances this season so far. But as we made it clear, he didn't want to be there anymore. He had a bit of a Harry Kane syndrome going on. We didn't just realize that Harry Kane was overrated all this time. We just realized that he wanted to leave. He gave everything he had. He wants to something better. He wants to win trophies. It didn't work out. And he's not happy at Tottenham right now. That's why we've only seen him score, what is it, 1 goal this Premier League? I think so, if I'm not mistaken. But guys, we're talking about a former Roma captain. We're talking about the guy who was voted the best signing of the season in 2015 by the Roma fans. He made the team of the decade, last decade obviously, with the likes of Alisson, Marquinhos, Alexander Kolarov, Miralem Pjanic, Daniele De Rossi, Raja Nainggolan, Mohamed Salah, Edin Dzeko, and of course, Francesco Totti. This is not just some guy coming to Olympiacos. This is huge. As for what Labros just said, excellent point, Labro. We don't know when he's going to be ready, but he is going to be eligible for Atalanta. Ever since 2018-2019 season, the rules have changed about players who have already played in the European competition. But I don't think Pedro Martins would be too keen to have this player over unless he knew he could have him for the Europa League, because the Greek Super League is done, guys. It's done. I mean, Olympiakos have to commit suicide to lose that title. But I think he wants him for Europe, and I think if he didn't think he's ready for Europe, it wouldn't have happened, my opinion.
Also, Costa, can I say one thing? There's a ton of reasons why maybe the things didn't go right in Naples. You have Koulibaly, the relationship there, the relationship with Spalletti, as I told you about, Gattuso, whatever, getting fired, who brought Manolas there. But also just Kostas Manolas from the Italian friends I have. I have a lot of Roma fans, like he loves Rome, and I think many you guys have Italian friends. You'll ask Italian friends, is Rome the same as Naples? they'll tell you it's not. It's not the same city. So, the guy was loved in Rome. He loved the city of Rome. His Italian's fantastic. And then he goes to Naples, which again is not one of the pizzas are good, but I don't know, not Rome. So I don't know. It's almost a case of maybe, yeah, he just he fell out of, like, he loved this Rome team. He stayed for so long. And then you go to Naples to play for Napoli. I don't know. There's just so many things where I just don't think it was performance wise. I just think it was mentality and just bad fit. The coach who brings you in is fired. A coach you hated is brought in. Like, all of these things say to me, this is not a player washed up, but it's simply a player who was in a difficult circumstances and has made it clear. I think everyone who knows about Kostas Manolas knows he spends the most time he can spend in Greece, all as much as he can. He's like the king of Naxos in the summer. I saw him this summer on the beach. Like, he's loved there, like he loves the Greece, So I don't know. I think that's a huge point as well. This idea of him being washed up and blah blah broken player I just think it's so lazy and not right. I'd almost bet the house that that's not the case. Like, my opinion.
Well, let's just one little thing that's worth mentioning. Chelsea wanted to sign Kostas Manolas in 2018. Manchester United and Arsenal wanted to sign him in 2019. That's 2 years ago. And they were willing to splash 30 million pounds. He's 30 years old now and he's at Olympiakos.
Barcelona was rumored too, I think, during Valverde's time, if I'm not mistaken. It could have been a rumor. I don't know if it really translated into anything. Obviously, it didn't. But you're right. I mean, he's been up there, I think, with the top 10, top 20 centre backs the last few years. I mean, I remember. I think we all do. We remember very vividly the player that left, the player that just absolutely took out Van Persie in the first game, at least when we played United at home, and then, as Lambro said, had a really good World Cup. And then obviously, he got his move out of Greece. Now, I know that there were some people that were asking for a deep dive, and we do have a deep dive. And I'm going to remind everybody, who Kostas Manolas is. So Kostas Manolas, 6'2", 189 centimeters tall, 83 kilograms, 182 pounds of dead sexiness for you Americans. This is from Ari, by the way. Ari is the guy that does the deep dive. So this is Ari speaking. He radiates big dick energy when shutting down attackers, stands erect when the Karaiskaki is in its full atmosphere. He's a wild Mustang that can't be tamed by Epo or its Dutch yes men. He answers only to Olympiakos. And that's your deep dive over, ladies and gents. Okay. I've had my fun. I've really enjoyed it, guys. Like, it's been a great day, joyous day for Olympiakos fans. Another day where our opponents whinge and cry and moan. They're so used to doing that. They're so well trained doing it the last 10, 20 years. I don't know how long that, another day doesn't matter. But okay, I did speak to some friends in Italy today. A guy I played football with, Dario Ranieri. Shout out Dario. Dario is from Naples. He is a big Napoli fan, of course. And of course, the first thing he says to me, I knew you were going to text me today. And I say, okay, what's your reaction on all of this? And what do you have to say about Manolas? First thing he says is that he's a player that he feels he was always injured. And he said that it's the same thing that Roma fans told him when they signed him, is that he's a player that plays 2 out of 3 games and then he's out for 2 or 3 games. Now, I've seen the way his body's kind of evolved over years. And I don't know, maybe I've got it wrong, but maybe he has enjoyed the Naples pizza a bit too much. The one thing I will say is that looking at what Hernani, the fitness coach, has done with Ronnie Lopez, I think the timing is great that he's managed to come in mid-December. He's got time to work with the fitness coach until January to start, getting into shape if he's not in good shape. and fitness wise. So the other thing he said was that he never really developed 100% that full chemistry with Koulibaly at the back, and at least from the few Napoli games that I saw, I also saw that as well. I mean, they played together more than, I think, just over 2 years, but didn't really ever seem to really click. Or when you're talking about two world-class defenders like Koulibaly and Manolas, you expect really like Napoli to probably be doing better than they have done in the last few years. And this year he hasn't been playing, and I think Napoli are top of Serie A. He also said if the guy alone was fit, he's great, very fast, still very fast, good tackling, a bit too impetuous is also what he said. So that's the feedback that I got from my good friend Dario Ranieri in Naples. Costa, have you talked to any other journalists in your field, like in the UK or in Italy? Like, what have you been hearing? What are people making of this move right now?
Well, yes, I have had a chat before we went live on air, but I got some background information behind the deal. But this is going to come out tomorrow with the Sun. I'm not at liberty to share it right now. So watch this space, guys. Watch this space. Obviously, they are recognizing this as a major move for Olympiakos. It shows intent. Like I said, this is not about the Greek league. You mentioned Olympiakos' opponents. They're not part of this conversation. They haven't been part of the conversation all season. If you ask me, PAOK really missed a huge chance this season because Olympiakos have not been strong so far. So they missed a really good opportunity to, actually go for the title, but they're even weaker. He's here for the Europa League right now. That just shows intent ahead of Atalanta right now. You got a player who's very physical, who's very quick, which is very important for Atalanta's lethal counterattacks, which is something Olympiakos are going to deal with a lot. I do not expect the lines to be that high up, especially from defense. But no, they are very impressed. Like I said, this is a player that Chelsea wanted to sign 3 years ago. Man United and Arsenal were willing to pay over 30 million pounds. That's almost 40 million euros 2 years ago. I was writing those stories. I expected him to come to the Premier League. This is a major, like you said, we said it before, I'm going to say it again. This is a major coup for Olympiakos. Fitness is a big issue, obviously, a big question. But like I said, I cannot imagine Pedro Martins giving the go-ahead for a player he can't have in February or March for such an important game. Like I said, it's not about Greece, it's about Europe.
Costa, do you really think Pedro Martins had a say in this? Because obviously Marinakis has said something to Martins, but this is personal. Like, this is a personal transfer from Marinakis, I think. I mean, we're not in shortage of centre backs. Okay, we can have a discussion about Copa Africa and whether that's going to happen or not. Whether Semedo's going to leave, whether Cisse might bring in a big fee in January. That's all speculation. But from what they both said in the press conference as well, you really got that feeling that this is a personal move by the president. He said that I'm the one that saw Manolas when he was at AEK, and I saw the potential, and I bought him here when he became a free agent. Manolas acknowledged that the president took the risk to bring him to Olympiakos, and he's done the same, bringing him back. So I don't want to say the coach hasn't been consulted
Involved.
on this move, but certainly I think it's like, we're getting Manolas. You're good with this? No, it doesn't matter. We're signing him. That's literally what I feel has happened here.
And I agree so much. And this will be my last point before I head out and leave the rest for you guys. I was watching the statements he gave to the club's media, and one thing he said is like, I'm here to give enthusiasm, passion, and cover wherever the team is missing. Like, I don't know, the translations always screw me. But anyway, that was my interpretation in English. And it says a lot because I remember we talked about this in Antwerp, in Frankfurt, when we were in Frankfurt, like the lack of passion, on a big night, like almost almost not like the team is a bit of a front runner sometimes. You know what I mean? When things are good, like everyone's passionate, everyone's going. But when shit hits the fan, like this team really seems to struggle. Like adversity just I've been looking for a captain of Olympiakos like Socrates. For some reason, to me, I don't think he's shown that much leadership on the field, like shown a captain's edge. Like he's played fantastic, but I haven't felt like he's like the captain. Like I hope that is Manolas. You know what I mean? I hope Manolas gets the captain's armband sooner rather than later, and I hope he kind of brings that passion back. Anyway, and with that, Swiss Club Gate 7, hell yeah, we're gonna be in Bergamo. Hell yeah, we're gonna be there. We're gonna be there. And yeah, with that, I'm out. I'm honestly, one last point, really interested to see who gets dropped between Cisse, Socrates. Cisse's had a fantastic year. I really feel for him if he's the guy who gets dropped. I read some people saying maybe time for the back three to come back. Fuck no, hopefully not. So let's just see what happens. Let's see what happens. I think this means Ba's gone. And you know what? One last thing. Dimitri Siofas is also on a free. I wouldn't be against it. That's it. That's all I
think
got for tonight.
Semedo's leaving. Before you leave, I think it's Semedo. I think that's
Semedo's already gone. I
so.
never want to see him again.
Me
He's
too.
disappeared.
Thank you.
God
Thank
bless
you.
Yeah.
Thank you. What
He
a way
shouldn't
to
have played
sign
against
off.
Olympiakos. Was shit. Blah, blah, blah.
Excellent. Excellent.
Anyway,
Excellent.
that's it.
Good man.
That's all I
Good
have.
man, Lambro.
Next
Bravo,
episode,
Lambro.
maybe from Honolulu, Hawaii. We'll see. Maybe if we do on Sunday.
Labro will be back before February.
I will be back hopefully before February. But
Because you were like, I'll see you in Bergamo. So we're not going to see you until February.
The thing is, like I'll be back in Hawaii, so it's gonna be like 7 a.m. podcast. Like right now, it's 10:30 in the morning in Hawaii. So anyway, that's gonna be my routine.
Just for those like newer listeners, like Labro grew up in Hawaii because that's a big hub for Olympiakos fans.
Yeah,
growing up. Like in case you didn't know, please subscribe. Please help us to reach out to Olympiakos fans all over the world. The bigger we get, the more we can pick out the Olympiakos fans all over the world. We are everywhere. Proof here. I'm in Belgium.
Right. And I'm going to be waking up at 4 a.m. to watch fucking La Mia bullshit games. So anyway, that's what I'm looking forward to. Anyway, have a good night, boys. I'll be listening to the second half of the episode tomorrow morning. I'm off to make raclette. Anyway, screw it. I'm off. Raclette. I'm off. Okay. Bye, everyone. Ciao.
Take care, dude.
Yeah. Kosti, you and me. Not much more to say, really, man.
Well, it's like I said, it just shows intent. Atalanta are obviously still the absolute favorites to go through, absolute favorites, but this kind of tilts the balances right now. The balances have tilted just a little bit right now, but still, Olympiakos still. Like I said, they've been so poor this season. PAOK have really missed the boat on this one because next season you just don't know. Olympiakos might be even stronger than they were in the 2019-2020 season. We've heard some big names for wingers. We've heard some rumors for that they're looking for new fullbacks. Once you figure out this major problem that you got in fullbacks, once you manage to connect those lines, defense with midfield with offense, like Tsimikas and El Abdelawi did, then, you're kind of starting to cook. But I don't think really Manolas is the kind of guy who's going to give the extra spark to Olympiakos. But then again, you also have Kostas Fortounis coming back from injury. You got, I guess, Karbovnik is going to come back from injury eventually. And Gary Rodriguez is going to be on the list as well. That's two extra names you got on the list, Manolas and Rodriguez. I think Olympiakos are only allowed one more if they're going to make more signings, but I think they're only allowed one more.
Yeah, that's true. Something that we need to consider if we make more signings. It's going to be complicated for the list, for sure. No, obviously you're right. There's a lot of expectation for sure, and what I was thinking earlier was the look on his face when he was outside the offices of Olympiakos. He looked delighted, man. It's like how rare is it that you see that kind of genuine look of absolute delight and joy on a player is very rare. You know, often it's the agent calls the players, like, the deal's been agreed between the clubs, you're going here. Like, okay, we've heard that in the case of Jose Sarr, like how he ended up at Olympiakos. Like, his agent called him, says you're going to Greece. Like, okay, from one day to the other. But here you're looking at a player who, like Lambro said, he was talking about bringing passion, playing for the team and giving back to the fans, giving back to the president, and leading by example. So I like to think he's also a player that he will not. It's not all about words. He said that as well. He wants to prove it on the pitch, and he was always like that as a player. He never lacked passion. And to this point about having passion in the team, I think at centre back at least, there's been no lack of passion. And you've got players like Cisse and Socrates. Manolas can be a bit impetuous, like my buddy from Naples was saying. So yeah, I think he had 7 appearances this season, of which 2 or 3 were starting, and he got 3 or 4 yellow cards. So I mean, it is what it is. For sure, we're going to see passion. I'm curious to see how we do end up lining up at the back. I think everybody's, gone immediately and started thinking about Manolas Socrates pairing, but hang on a minute. Cisse has been our MVP, for me at least, this season, and I don't see how he gets taken out of that starting 11. And to think about the raw strength and the pace that they both have at the back, a Cisse and Manolas partnership, that would be tasty. I would like to see that, and I wouldn't mind seeing this as well. Michalis mic. Everyone's getting excited now. It's like, you've had a bite to eat, and now you want a bigger bite. Next, Luka Milivojevic says Michalis mic. He's not been playing at Palace, but yeah, let's not go too far off topic.
And it's not the same as Manolas. Obviously, I did mention to the lovely audience here that there's going to be more info, exclusive info coming out tomorrow that I cannot share just now, but I can give a sneak peek. Manolas really wanted to come back. He really, really wanted to come back to Olympiakos and Greece, and that played a huge part in what's going on right now. He really, really wanted to come back. As for the plans, what I'm hearing right now is Martins will want to play a 3-4-3 or a 3-5-2 with Socrates Papastathopoulos, Kostas Manolas, and Papea Boussisse at the back. But he does seem like the kind of tinker man in the sense that he adjusts to situations. You never really know with Pedro Martins. And if I may go back to the Atalanta thing, we've discussed this so many times together that we got players right now who don't seem too keen to be at Olympiakos anymore, in the sense that they've given it all, they've done it all, and now they're too good for Olympiakos, and they are too good for Olympiakos. Pedro Martins, Papea Boussisse, Mati Camara. I mean, Ousseynou Ba was also quite good.
Too good for the Greek league. Too good for the Greek league.
Yes, but obviously right now he has been very disappointing, but. Yeah. He was very good, especially against Wolves and against and the Europa League that in the 2019-2020 season. Even Semedo, obviously Semedo was done with Olympiakos, and we saw that with Ludogorets. But now he can just whatever. He should be cut. He should be axed from Olympiakos anyway. So I am hoping that the Atalanta game will spark a fire under their tails, because they do understand that scouts are still looking, they're still watching, and if you don't deliver in a big match situation, they're not going to come for you. And even if they do, they're not willing to pay a lot of money, which is going to be a problem with Vangelis Marinakis. So I do hope that they're finally going to wake up and see this as, right now we got to deliver. And now you got Manolas, you got Gary Rodriguez, you got Fortounis, maybe Karbovnik. Who knows?
Yeah, the thing is, Costa, you know this just as well as I do, and anybody that's played football, even amateur, you can't just do this and say, I'm going to play really, really good from one day.
There's a bit of a break. There's a bit of a break, and there's a bit of time until those two big games, and it's huge that the second leg is in the Karaiskakis, which is something that never happens for Olympiakos ever.
It's true. Well, it happens. It happens with Metalist.
With Metalist and Levante, but that was back in 2000. Levante was in 2013. Metalist was in 2012. Ever since, it's been almost 10 years ago. I didn't even actually expect that. I was shocked when I heard that the Europa League runners-up were seeded. I couldn't believe it. Obviously, Atalanta are still the absolute favorites, but Manolas is a huge addition for Olympiakos and a huge addition for next season as well. Olympiakos is a team with really good players, but not a good team. It's just not blending. It's just not mixing. But this is, like we said, this is a huge coup. There's going to be more moves. If Olympiakos manage to get at least one decent fullback, let's see. Lala and Reabchuk are kind of waking up, especially the latter. Let's see.
And I was just looking this up again, and Manolas is 30 years old. He's 30 years old. It's like pretty much prime age for a centre back.
Yeah, that's exactly for a centre back. Exactly that position. Yes.
I mean, it's a 3.5-year contract. He's finishing his career here. That's what we all hope for, and that's what I think he wanted. That's what
he's not going to the Premier League. He's not going to the Premier League.
No.
We said that. He wanted to end it at Olympiakos, and he had a massive partnership with Papastathopoulos in the Greek national team. They were one of the main reasons Greece made it to the round of 16 and almost made it to the quarterfinals. It was those two, that partnership right there, excellent chemistry. And he just mentioned Papea Boussisse and Manolas with their pace together. That could be something special, and that could even raise Papea Boussisse's stock, and he could, be a massive sell in the summer, and he could also become a much better player. So many prospects with this one. So many prospects with this one.
I think that's all we've got time for. We've been going just over half an hour. Costa, any last thoughts?
Well, let's keep an eye on this. Obviously, let's not get too excited about this. But like I said, this is not a Miralas Yaya Toure kind of situation. The numbers say this. We mentioned the numbers that Yaya Toure and Kevin Miralas did not come back with those kind of numbers. They came back with the exact opposite of those numbers. If it doesn't work out for this season, it's obviously something for next season. I don't know about captain material. He was not that with the Greek national team. Neither was Papastathopoulos, which is worrying. It is worrying because he needs to come. He needs to come out in front of everyone else and lead this team. Fortounis hasn't also shown a lot of leadership qualities. Bouchalak is by far the best you got on that front, which is worrying.
They're different personalities. I mean, Fortounis is very kind of low-key, quiet. Manolas quite outspoken, quite tulimagno, how they say. So it could be a good fit. We'll see. As I said, he's got a 3.5-year contract. He's there for the long term. Maybe. Let's see.
He's a no bullshit kind of guy, basically. Like he doesn't take any. He doesn't take any, and he doesn't really give the impression that he's gonna mince his words. He's gonna hold back about what he really thinks. But anyways, that was an assumption there. But the fact that he is a no bullshit kind of guy, it is true. He's hard as nails. He's the kind of center back you want. He doesn't get intimidated by anyone, which is it's good. He's never gonna lose his nerve. More info coming up, guys, tomorrow. So watch the space. Give us a follow for more. Both Gate 7 International and us too as well.
You can follow Kostas Lianos. You can see his handle there at Lianos Kostas. He'll be breaking with some juicy exclusive tomorrow. So don't miss that. Thanks for joining everyone for this impromptu episode of Gate 7 International. Thanks again. If you haven't subscribed, click that subscribe button, hit the bell as well so that you're reminded whenever we go live. Thanks for making it this far. See you next time.
You just listened to an episode of the Gate 7 International podcast, a podcast connecting Olympiakos fans from Brussels to Tokyo, from Toronto to Geneva. We are 4 Olympiakos fans from every corner of the world, bringing you news and interviews of the team you love in English. With new episodes twice a week, you will never miss out on the latest updates and stories of the team you love. If you liked what you heard, make sure to follow us on social media at Gate7INTL, give us a subscribe on YouTube, or even leave a review on all our podcast channels. Until next time, this is our team, our city and our story. Θρύλος είσαι. Στο μυαλό κάτι μαγικό.